Process costing. Process costing. Good day, viewers. You are welcome to Web Educate. Today, we are covering concept of process costing. In our former video, we have covered process costing in some ways about the calculation aspect, but today we are covering the process costing. The concept of process. Concept of process costing. Process costing is a method used mainly in manufacturing company where units are continuously mass produced. Process costing is a method of costing used mainly in manufacturing company. Is a method of costing used mainly in manufacturing company. In manufacturing company. In manufacturing company where units are continuously mass produced, where units are continuously mass produced through one or more processes. Through one or more processes. Process costing is also an accounting system which traces or accumulates direct costs and allocates indirect costs of a production into a unit of product. Process costing is a method of costing used mainly in manufacturing company where units are continuously mass produced through one or more processes. In another way, we can still define process costing as as an accounting system which traces or accumulates direct costs and allocates indirect costs of a production into a unit of product. In process costing, during the process of production, some losses are experienced. Some losses are experienced, which may be due to some factors. So, you have type of losses. Types. Let's talk about what is losses first. Losses are what? Let's say normal loss. Normal losses are what? Are the expected losses. Losses that are expected in the production process. These are what we call what? Normal losses. Normal losses. That is when an input of a production is greater than what? Than the output of a production. These are what some losses causes that make it, some factor causes that make the output to be lesser than what? Than the input. And these are what we call what? Losses. Now, what are the losses? You have the normal losses. These are losses. Normal losses. These are the expected losses, or this is the term used to describe normal expected wastage under usual operating condition. This is what this is. Expected losses. These are what? Expected losses. This is the term. This is the term used to describe normal expected wastage. Normal expected wastage. Normal expected wastage under usual operating condition. Under usual operating conditions. And the reason for this may be to some factors as this may be due to some reasons such as evaporation, withdrawal for testing, rejection also stealing. All these are some, when the material input is less, is greater than the output. So the reason that may cause may be what? Due to evaporation, withdrawal for testing, rejection of materials or whatever. Then stealing, when the laborers in the factory, in the factory are stealing the material input. So after the normal loss, you have what? Abnormal loss. What's abnormal loss? Abnormal loss are the losses that are greater than the what? Greater than the expected losses. Losses greater than the expected losses are what? Are the abnormal losses. Losses greater than the abnormal losses. Losses greater than the expected losses are what we refer to as what? As abnormal losses. Abnormal losses. Abnormal losses. These are losses greater than the expected losses. And this occur when the expected losses is greater than the what? When losses greater than the expected losses. These are what? Abnormal losses. These are the losses that we expect, which is greater what? These are the losses that are greater than what? Than the expected losses. This is when a loss occurs over and above the normal losses. This will be due to reasons such as faulty machinery or errors by laborer. Losses greater than the expected losses is what we call what? Abnormal losses. So this may be due, or this is when a loss, that is, in other words, this is when a loss occurs over and above the normal loss. Above the normal loss. And this may be due to reasons such as faulty machinery, faulty machinery, or errors by workers. That is abnormal losses. Losses greater than the expected losses. This is when a loss occurs over and above the normal loss. This may be due to reasons such as faulty machinery or errors by workers. We have the abnormal gain. Abnormal gain is when the loss is less than the expected losses. When losses are less than the expected losses. This is what we call what? Abnormal gain. Abnormal process gain. Losses less than the expected losses. Abnormal process gain. These are what? When losses lesser than the expected losses. This is when the loss occurs when the actual loss is lower than the normal loss. In another word, this is when the actual loss, this is when the actual loss is lower, actual loss is lower than the normal loss. This can be due to reasons when there is a greater efficiency from newly purchased machinery. This may be due to factor. This may be due to factor when there is a greater efficiency. This may be due to a factor when there is a greater efficiency, when there is a factor when there is a greater efficiency from newly purchased machinery. So it may cause what? Abnormal gain. Actual loss. Actual loss is when the input is less than the good production. Actual loss is what? This is when the material input is greater than the actual production. This is used to what? To calculate abnormal gain. And abnormal gain is what? Is actual loss higher than the normal loss. Yes, in the calculation aspect. Abnormal loss is equal to actual loss greater than the normal loss. This is for calculation purposes. Then you have work in progress. Don't forget we are covering concept of process costing. Work in progress. Work in progress. What is work in progress? This is a term used to describe. This is the term used to describe units that are not yet complete. This is used to describe units that are not yet complete. Units that are not yet complete. This is work in progress. Opening work in progress is the number of incomplete units at the start of a process. While closing work in progress is the number of units that are incomplete at the end of the process. Opening work in progress is the number of units that are not complete at the beginning or at the start of a production process, or at the start of what at the start of a process, at the start of a production process. While closing work in progress are the number of units that are not completed at the end of a production process. Then you have equivalent units of production. Equivalent units of production. Equivalent unit of work in progress. This is the term used to describe units that are not yet complete. Maybe at the beginning or at the end of a production process. Opening work in progress is the number of units that are not completed at the start of a production process, which is brought down from the last period to the new period or to the current period. Closing work in progress are the number of units that are not completed at the end of a production process. Now, equivalent unit of production. 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 Equivalent units of production. This refers to a conversion of part completed unit into an equivalent number of wholly completed units. This refers to a conversion of part completed units into an equivalent number into an equivalent number of wholly completed units. For example, what is equivalent unit? Equivalent unit is what? This refers to a conversion of parts completed unit into an equivalent number of fully completed units. Into an equivalent number of fully completed units. For example, if 1,000 cars are 40% complete, if 1,000 cars are 40% complete, then the equivalent number of completed cars, then the equivalent number of completed cars will be 1,000 multiplied by 40%, which give us equal 400 cars. These are some of concept of process costing. Again, equivalent units of production. This refers to a conversion of parts completed units into an equivalent number of fully completed units. For example, if 1,000 cars are 40% completed, then the equivalent number of completed cars will be 1,000 multiplied by 40%, which give us 400 cars. Once again, if you are new to this channel and you have not subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel by pressing the red button, so that whenever more of this is produced in the future, YouTube will be able to notify you. Please press the red button. See you later.